So I'm gonna talk about Final Fantasy 16. Like I said, finished it this morning. Spent all night and this morning finishing up the game. I did all the side quests that I had left uh, yesterday, and then this morning I played through the rest of the game. Well, first I was going through. There's these things called notorious marks where you go and fight specific enemies for money and stuff. And I wanted to complete all of those so I can get the material I needed to get uh, the strongest sword in the game and some other armor stuff before I went fought the final boss. And did that, and yeah, this was a good game. It was real fun. The side quests got better and better as the game went on. They really let you get to know to the inhabitants of the world of Valisthea, and yeah, they just get real personal with all the side characters. They really let you get to know a good chunk of them, especially like the leaders in specific communities throughout the world. It is like a what they call a wide linear game where it's mostly like a linear for the most part, but there are some sections where the map opens up a little bit and you get to explore, semi open world. Interweaved within the story about racism and environmentalism that I mentioned last time. Uh, it's also about what it means to be human, with the main antagonist that essentially is above everything that's going on is this godlike figure, and that was really cool. Like I said before about the combat, unleashing all of your iconic abilities on an enemy after you stagger them, it feels great, but the game doesn't really encourage you to think much or to switch up the way you play. You pretty much just dodge, attack, do iconic abilities, and repeat until whoever is dead. Um, uh, and it's also it's not the hardest game in the world. You do unlock a new difficulty mode after you beat the game, but you have to beat the game to get that. You know, like I said before as well, the RPG mechanics just could be better. Like I went to get the new sword because it does more damage, but like I feel like just comparing it to a game like God of War, it's so weird that God of War was this quintessential hack and slash and has become so much more of an RPG, whereas Final Fantasy is in this game is going more hack and slash, and the RPG stuff is just little to not existent really. And I wish that the you could customize the character's armor a little bit more and weapons and all that. And I wish there were more slots for iconic abilities because you hold the trigger and then press square or triangle to perform them, but X like doesn't do anything. I feel like X could have been something that could have been a third iconic ability for each of the three slots you have. Um,
Yeah.
so I feel like it was kind of limiting in that place because I was like, I want to use more abilities, but I just chose the abilities that I like, and I stuck with those. I didn't really switch up that often. Soundtrack's real good. The battle theme especially is great. I could listen to that battle theme forever, and I have because it plays every time you fight something. So, um, yeah, you got it. Like the battle theme has to be good. If I'm gonna hear this every
Yeah.
single time I fight an enemy, it's got to be good. Uh, the boss fights are insane. They gradually get bigger and bigger until they get ridiculous. Last time I talked about this one boss fight that I'm not going to spoil. It's stupid. It's so good. It's crazy how big these boss fights get. I was only disappointed in one of them because we didn't get to fight one of the dominants as our icon versus theirs, like we did all the other dominants. But the fight was still good. I was just disappointed that I just didn't get to fight them in that way.
Right. Right.
But yeah, it's a good game. I would give it like a. I was gonna say out of 10. I don't even go out of 10 anymore. I go out of 5. Let me see, like a 4 out of 5. I guess I would give this a game. It's 4 out of 5. It's a good game. It's a fun game. I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with the next game. Probably won't see a new Final Fantasy for like 5 years or something like that. At
Oh
least
yeah. Yeah.
like a new numbered game. We're gonna get the remakes of 7, of course. And who knows if we'll get a remake of any other Final Fantasy game at some point. But
Right.
if they do, I wonder if they're gonna switch it up completely again, or if they're gonna continue on this kind of action focused route, and if it'll be made by business unit 3, who also worked on 14 like 16 was, and if so, I hope that they expand on the RPG stuff as well as make the combat and enemies a a bit more diverse, so that you're encouraged to switch things up every now and again or fight different enemies in different ways. Because in the game, you just fight all the same enemies the exact same way, and you don't have to think about switching anything up ever. Um,
Uh,
so I would like for it to be a bit different in that way. Because I'm gonna keep comparing it to God of War because it's such a good comparison because they're both these hack and slash RPGs, and God of War does a good job of encouraging you to fight different enemies different ways and use your different weapons for specific enemy types and throwing different enemy types. Ragnarok especially, they took a criticism that the first game had of not having enough variety of enemies and greatly expanded the variety. And you're forced to think differently when you're fighting different enemies. And I would like to see that from the next action focused hack and slash Final Fantasy game. Yeah, good game overall. Like I said, 4 out of 5.